As Africa's leading defense news portal, DefenceWeb aims to give you the latest updates on African defense, the South African National Defense Force, and the defense industry. Hi folks, welcome to the past week in defense. In this week's edition on the continent, the United States donates Mamba armored vehicles to Niger, a French C-130J takes over from a C-160 in Niger, Somali pirates release their last 3 hostages as armed men attack a Panama-flagged ship, Rwanda's Cessna Caravan contract is moving forward, a United States Air Force C-130J delivers personal protective equipment to South Africa, and cross-border attacks remain a concern in the Free State. In SANDF news, 2 SANDF members have been arrested in Lesotho for illegally crossing the border. The military ombudsman found soldiers accused of killing Alexandria resident Collins Khosa acted improperly and irregularly. The Democratic Alliance raises more questions over the Tek weapons-based theft. The South African Army chief pays a visit to Reutech Communications. The South African Air Force carries out more rescues and hydrogen fuel cell systems are powering a COVID-19 field hospital. In company news, Apogee-SSU is set to continue training African Cessna Caravan pilots on behalf of the United States military. Lockheed Martin has awarded a contract for Moroccan F-16s. The Ahrlac aircraft advances as business rescue nears completion. Denel records a 1.7 billion rand loss in the last financial year, and former Denel chief executive Talib Sadiq is now the interim Denel Group CEO. In African defense news, US donates Mamba vehicles to Niger. The United States has donated 22 Osprey Mamba Mark 7 armored vehicles to Niger to equip the G5 Sahel joint force for its fight against terrorism, transnational organized crime, and trafficking in the Sahel. The equipment was handed over on 5th of May at a ceremony in Niger's capital, Niamey, and includes 15 Osprey Logistics Mamba Mark 7 armored personnel carriers, 4 Mamba Mark 7 armored command vehicles, and 3 Mamba Mark 7 armored ambulances. Also handed over were 2 Toyota Land Cruiser ambulances and 4 armored vehicle mechanic tool sets. The US will also provide maintenance support for the equipment. Based on the South African designed Mamba, the Mamba Mark 7 is manufactured in the United States by Osprey Logistics and features various improvements over previous Mamba generations. French C-130J takes over from C-160 in Niger. The French Air Force is replacing its C-160 Transall aircraft in Niger with a C-130J Super Hercules ahead of the Transall's retirement. On the 31st of July, a C-130J took over from a C-160 at Niamey, Niger, in support of the French-led Operation Boucan. According to the French Defense Ministry, the C-160 is bowing out of foreign operations after more than 50 years of service and will no longer be permanently present in Niger. Somali pirates release last 3 hostages as armed men attack Panama-flagged ship. Somali pirates have released 3 Iranian hostages held for 5 years, a maritime security official said on the 20th of August, as conflicting reports emerged whether another ship has been seized after a 3-year hiatus in hijackings. The 3 Iranians are the last of the crew of the Iranian fishing vessel FV Siraj, which was captured by pirates on the 22nd of March 2015. The release was meant to mark the end of an era for Somalia's pirates, who held over 2,300 crew between 2010 and 2019. But instead, 6 armed men hijacked the Panama-flagged Argian-2 on 19th of August after it had engine problems, a regional governor in Somalia told Reuters. Rwandan Caravan contract moving forward. Textron Aviation will deliver 2 Cessna Grand Caravan EX aircraft to the Rwanda Defense Force in the first half of 2021 after receiving a contract for the aircraft from ATI Engineering in support of the United States military's African Partnership Flight Initiative. Textron, on the 11th of August, said the Caravans will be the first fixed-wing aircraft to be put in service by the Rwanda Defense Force, which will base them in the capital, Kigali. US C-130J delivers personal protective equipment to South Africa. A United States Air Force C-130J Super Hercules on Saturday, 15th of August, delivered nearly 6 million rands worth of personal protective equipment to the South African National Department of Health, which will use it to support the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic in Gauteng, Western Cape, Eastern Cape, and KwaZulu-Natal. The equipment arrived at OR Tambo International Airport and comprises masks, gloves, medical gowns, and sanitizing supplies, the US Embassy said. The US military's Africa Command also announced that it is supporting the setup of hand-washing stations in Gauteng, Eastern Cape, and KwaZulu-Natal, contributing $225,000, around 4 million rand, to this initiative. This brings the total value of US support towards South Africa's COVID-19 response to over $46 million, the US Embassy said. Cross-border attacks a concern in the Free State. A Free State-based safety and risk analyst maintains large sectors of the provincial border with Lesotho and immediate surroundings are no-go areas because of violent attacks and other crimes including theft of equipment, infrastructure, and stock. Dr. Jane Byes, a safety and risk analyst for Free State Agriculture, estimates more than 600 rural crime incidents happened in the province in June. According to her, the majority of these were in border areas and impact the agricultural community more than any other. Support for her observations comes from Democratic Alliance Free State Provincial Leader Roy Jankelson. A recent oversight visit to the SA/Lesotho border between Clarence and Fredericksburg found a wide open border with no control, made worse by an almost non-existent Caledon River. And in SANDF news, 2 SANDF members nabbed in Lesotho. 2 South African National Defence Force soldiers were apprehended on the night of Thursday, 20th of August in Maseru after allegedly crossing into Lesotho without proper documents. The soldiers were apparently also traveling with 2 border officials in a car. Lesotho Police spokesman Superintendent Mbiti Mopeli said the quartet is accused of breaching COVID-19 public health regulations 2020 and that they traveled into the country without proper documentation. He said the accused have committed an offence and are liable to a fine not exceeding 5,000 rand or to imprisonment for a period not exceeding a month. Mopeli said preliminary investigations have uncovered that the accused were going to refill their car at a filling station in Maseru. The witnesses said it has been a practice for the South African officials to come into Lesotho and return to South Africa to buy items such as foods previously without any problems. Mopeli said the accused will appear in court as soon as investigations are complete. The accused were picked up by the police and are now detained in police holding cells. Meanwhile, 2 Lesotho soldiers are still detained in Matatele, South Africa, facing 5 charges after they were apprehended by South African soldiers a month ago. They are facing charges of illegal possession of firearms, illegal crossing into South Africa, and illegal possession of ammunition, stock theft, and armed robbery. The soldiers said they were pursuing alleged thieves from South Africa who allegedly stole livestock from Lesotho. They were apprehended after apparently exchanging fire with South African soldiers. It should be noted that the border between Matatele and Kwacha's Neck is very porous with no fence or river to mark it in some areas. Soldiers acted improperly and irregularly in Khosa death. The 4 as yet unidentified soldiers who allegedly assaulted and killed an Alexandria resident while on national state of disaster duty acted improperly, irregularly, and contravened the National Defence Force's Code of Conduct. A military ombud investigation is found. Khosa died following injuries sustained and apparently inflicted by soldiers searching his Alexandria, Johannesburg house for alcohol on Good Friday, 10th of April, 2 weeks into national lockdown as a host of regulations either restricting or banning most normal activities came into force. Defence and Military Veterans Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Ngokula was reported as telling Parliament on 19th of August the ombud investigation into Khosa's death found evidence of improper conduct, impropriety, as well as ignorance of operational orders and Operation Notlela rules of engagement. Democratic Alliance still has questions on Tek Base weapons theft. The whistleblower for the Tek Base weapons theft earlier this year has spoken out as regards the apparent silence of the National Defence Force's Legal Service Division on the case. 4 months ago was the last time the National Defence Force gave South Africans an update on the theft of what is believed to be at least 24 weapons from the SA Army Engineer Formation at Tek Base in Centurion. A statement indicated 2 SANDF personnel were granted bail in late April and told to report back to court on the 17th of June. Initially, there appeared to be some urgency around the case. That was short-lived, and now no one seems to want to provide further information. Cobus Morea, Democratic Alliance Shadow Defence and Military Veterans Minister, said after being told a Defence Web inquiry about the theft remains unanswered after 2 weeks at the SANDF Directorate Corporate Communications. One function of this directorate is to forward media questions to the service/division/formation or unit concerned, and when a response is received, respond to the questionnaire. Moraes was the whistleblower on the theft back in January after he was informed of the theft by what he termed an impeccable source in the force. Moraes, it will be remembered, also brought the military's attention to the alleged beating and subsequent death of Alexandria resident Khosa early on in the national state of disaster. SA Army Chief visited Reutech Communications. Chief of the SA Army, Lieutenant General Lawrence Mbata, recently paid a visit to Reutech Communications where he was briefed on the new generation radios Reutech is delivering to the South African National Defence Force. He was hosted at Reutech Communications facilities at the end of May and given a presentation on the company's 25 products by Atwal Mhlongo, Divisional Marketing Director, Africa. Under Project Radiate, Reutech is delivering a range of radios to the SANDF. The new generation products consist of a family of software-defined radios covering the military VHF, UHF, and HF frequencies in the form of man-pack, vehicle, base station, and personal role radios. Long-distance rescue by 15 Squadron Oryx. Treacherous weather and several hundred kilometers of rough flying did not stop the SA Air Force in the form of a 15 Squadron Oryx from executing a successful maritime medevac off Port Elizabeth. Medium transport helicopter based at Air Force Base Durban on the site of the former Durban International Airport was summoned to airlift a patient with a serious leg injury off the crude oil tanker Babylon on Friday, 14th of August. Jonathan Kellerman, National Sea Rescue Institute Durban Station Commander, said, on Friday, 15 Squadron NSRI Durban rescue swimmers and Netcare 911 rescue paramedics were activated to evacuate a 36-year-old Indian man suffering a serious injury off a 330-meter crude oil tanker near Port Elizabeth. He was brought safely aboard the helicopter and delivered to St. George's Hospital for further treatment thanks to good airmanship and winching skills of the flight crew. Further down the Cape Coast, another Oryx, this one from AFB Yesterplaats 22 Squadron, on Sunday 9th of August, rescued 10 hikers from Bainskloof between Ceres and Wellington after they became trapped on the wrong side of a swollen river. Hydrogen fuel cell systems power COVID-19 field hospital. Government, in collaboration with the private sector, is putting plans in place to roll out hydrogen fuel cell technologies in various parts of South Africa. These will serve as alternative energy sources to the country's electricity grid. Department of Science and Innovation Director General Dr. Phil Mdrawa said that such partnerships will enable government to take alternative energy sources to rural areas while also contributing to the growth of the country's green economy. Dr. Mdrawa was speaking at one military hospital in Pretoria on 19th of August, where government has set up a field hospital to prepare for the potential increase in COVID-19 patients. The department unveiled 7 hydrogen fuel cell systems as the primary power source for the field hospital, which has facilities for testing and screening, as well as life-saving equipment such as ventilators in the intensive care unit. The project is a partnership between the Department of Science and Innovation, the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, the Department of Defense, and private companies including Bambili Energy, which is committed to commercializing intellectual property development through the Department of Science and Innovation's Hydrogen South Africa program. And in company news, Apogee-SSU to continue training West African pilots. US company Apogee-SSU is training Cessna 208B Caravan crews of the Cameroonian, Nigerian, and Chadian Air Forces under a United States government contract. The US Department of State recently renewed the company's training contract, Africa Intelligence reports, and Apogee-SSU said on its website it has openings in Africa performing services for the Department of State Bureau of African Affairs. This requirement is for the full-time services of 3 technical advisors to train selected aviation personnel in Cameroon, Chad, and Niger on Cessna 208B aircraft and respective mission equipment, such as intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and/or casualty evacuations, so that partner nation aviation personnel are self-sufficient in the operations and maintenance tasks of Caravan aircraft. All 3 countries have received Caravan aircraft from the United States, while Rwanda will next year receive 2 Caravans from the United States Department of Defense. Lockheed Martin awarded contract for Moroccan F-16s. Lockheed Martin has been awarded a contract from the United States Department of Defense for F-16 fighters for Taiwan and Morocco, which will receive 66 and 24 respectively under the contract. On the 14th of August, the Department of Defense announced that Lockheed Martin had been awarded a contract for the new production of F-16 foreign military sale aircraft. The total value for the initial delivery order is $4.9 billion for 90 aircraft, the contract announcement read. Work is expected to be completed on the 31st of December 2026. According to the Department of Defense, if all potential foreign customers place their maximum desired orders for the next decade, Lockheed Martin would receive $62 billion in F-16 contracts. Ahrlac advances as business rescue nears completion. Production of Ahrlac aircraft at the factory at Rwandan Airport is proceeding at pace as Paramount nears completion of the program's business rescue plans. The state-of-the-art factory at Rwandan has been operational for several months under Paramount's stewardship, with manufacturing being ramped up to ensure the timeliest delivery of aircraft to customers around the world, Paramount said on the 18th of August. Approximately 85% of the original staff of the Aerospace Development Corporation have been retained. The Ahrlac was conceived by Aerosat and developed with Paramount funding through the joint venture Aerospace Development Corporation. However, a dispute between Paramount and the Aerospace Development Corporation saw the program enter business rescue in February 2019. In October 2019, a business rescue plan for the Ahrlac was adopted, which led to the reopening of the factory and production resuming, now under the stewardship of Paramount Aerospace Industries, parts of the Paramount Aerospace and Technology Group. Denel records a 1.7 billion rand loss in the last financial year. Ailing state-owned defense firm Denel made a 1.7 billion rand loss in the 2019/20 financial year, the Department of Public Enterprises said in a presentation to Parliament on the 19th of August. Denel has not yet presented its results for the financial year that ended in March. It made a 1.75 billion rand loss for the year ending March 2019 after revenue fell 36% and recorded a loss of 1.053 billion rand in 2017/18. The Department of Public Enterprises said the most recent loss was due to a significant decline in revenues. This is directly attributed to the current liquidity challenges. Denel's liquidity has been significantly below the levels 4 billion rand required by investors. This is mainly due to low profits and losses reported over the years. Former Chief Executive, now interim at Denel. Former Denel Chief Executive Talib Sadiq will caretake the state-owned defense and security conglomerate until a new Chief Executive is named. Denel on the 17th of August announced that it had appointed Sadiq as interim group chief executive following the departure of Danny Detroit, whose tenure ended on the 15th of August. In addition to his duties as chief executive for the 4-year period 2008 to 2012, qualified chartered accountant, Sadiq was also a non-executive director of Denel. He was appointed to the interim Denel board in April 2018. A Denel statement has it that Sadiq, the interim group chief executive, worked with the board of Denel developing the turnaround plan, and he is well positioned for a seamless transition as he brings a wealth of experience that will be of value. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our daily and weekly newsletter, and our other social media platforms if you enjoyed the webcast. Leave your comments below. Thank you for watching, stay safe, and we'll see you next week.